Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Today, we're issuing a challenge. It's the Watershed Explorer Challenge, and it's being offered by the Lake Champlain Sea Grant Program at the University of Vermont. The challenge is free to students and teachers who want to learn about watershed science. To learn more, here's Across the Fence's Marco Ayala.
How water moves. So a watershed is basically what I like to think of as like a nested system.
One of the many benefits of having Lake Champlain in our backyard is that students get a chance to learn about aquatic life, water quality, and the Lake Champlain Basin in general with hands-on activities.
And you'll drop that as far down as you can. We'll just keep going.
The current pandemic has changed that for the time being, but it has also created an opportunity for scientists and outreach professionals to find ways to engage youth in activities to help them learn about the issues that affect the lake. That is how the Lake Champlain Explorer Challenge was born.
It's pretty cool.
Ashley Eaton, education coordinator with the Lake Champlain Sea Grant, is one of the scientists behind this project.
The Watershed Explorer Challenge is a self-contained booklet of 11 NGSS-aligned science activities. And they are scaffolded in a way to start by introducing students to watershed science and then to build their learning over time. So at the end, at activity number 11, students are now watershed stewards of the Lake Champlain Basin. And so through the activities that are designed, students get to engage in at-home science, which is completely wireless. They don't need to be on the computer looking anything up. They don't need any resources or tools. This free program kind of has everything that is needed contained in the booklet. This program is a product of Lake Champlain Sea Grant, which is here at the University of Vermont with the University of Vermont Extension, SUNY Plattsburgh, and then with additional funding from the Lake Champlain Basin program.
While kids normally would visit the lab to conduct experiments with their classmates, this Explorer Watershed program offers the advantage of appealing to kids in a wider set of grades, due to the fact that the booklet features activities that the students complete on their own.
The Watershed Explorer Challenge is open to all students that are in kind of upper elementary through early high school. And the program is free for anyone that wants to participate. You can get the booklets at a variety of locations, and you can do it at home without any scientific equipment.
What are some of the activities that the participants have to complete?
Yeah, so in the Watershed Explorer Challenge, one of the very first activities actually has students mapping out where they are in the watershed and getting acquainted with some of the tributaries and some of the natural features. Throughout the booklet, students will be diving into a bunch of topics, including food webs and food chains, exploring how energy is transferred in aquatic food webs. They'll be learning about water clarity and the impact that can have on aquatic organisms, evaluating benthic communities, so doing stream investigations in the book and potentially with their families to find benthic macroinvertebrates, which are indicators of water quality.
And what happens when you complete all the activities in the booklet?
The way that we've set this up, once you've completed all of the activities in the booklet, there is a postcard in the back that's actually, you can tear it off. It is prepaid. So basically what you'll do is you'll complete your contact information, write a couple things that you learned answering these questions, and you'll mail this back to us, and we will reach out with a certificate of completion and a little handwritten note from our Watershed Science Education team here at Lake Champlain Sea Grant.
How can kids enroll and be part of this challenge?
Great, yeah, so you can be a part of this challenge by, if you go to our website, there's a list of libraries that have these booklets. You can request them for curbside pickup. We also are asking that if teachers want to do this with a class, they can reach out to us and we can get them a set of booklets for their class to complete it as a challenge together. Or if families want to request from the library, or also if there isn't a library near you, you can reach out to us and we're happy to connect and get you some of the booklets.
Why are programs like this so important for the health of the lake?
Programs like this are really important because, especially in a time when we are feeling very disconnected from one another, but also from the natural landscape, this is a great opportunity to connect with maybe some features in your community, in your backyard, stewardship and learning about lake science at a really early age will help citizens make great decisions later in life. So as students are learning about the local water quality challenges here throughout the booklet and all of the activities, they're learning the tools and tips and tricks to be successful stewards of the watershed over time.
Can anybody see anything moving in there yet?
Whether it's out on the lake, at the lab, or at home, learning about the health of our beloved lake and how to conserve our natural resources is something that is good for all of us now and into the future. In Burlington, I'm Marco Ayala with Across the Fence.
This is really sandy.
For more information about the Watershed Explorer Challenge, check the website we've listed on the screen. It's uvm.edu/Sea Grant, and then click on the link for education. We move now from the lake to the forest. Forests, like gardens, need to be tended and managed. The gardeners in the forest are loggers and other forestry professionals. Making a living off the land is tough and rewarding, and there's no doubt that logging is a business. In order to make a living off the forest, you've got to be as good with a chainsaw as a checkbook. Let's join Keith Silva in the woods to learn about the business of logging from the ground up.
If a tree falls in the forest and John Parker is around, you can bet it makes a sound. Over the winter, Parker has been working with a landowner in Springfield to thin out pine, remove Norway maple, and cut about 50 cords of firewood.
No guts, no glory, right?
Parker runs Brookside Timber Harvesting. In fact, he is Brookside Timber Harvesting. To his fellow loggers, he's what's considered a small operator.
So what's a small operator?
I don't know, it's one guy at a chainsaw, skidder.
For 25 years, Parker has been working the woods. He logs, sugars, runs a portable sawmill, and he works with a forester to remove invasive species. He's been thinking about expanding his logging operation. He'd like to buy more equipment and hire someone to help him out. But Parker knows he has limitations.
Oh, I'm a good logger, but I'm not a good business when it comes to doing paperwork. I don't like paperwork, really didn't know where to start. I could have maybe fumbled through some stuff on the internet, but it doesn't take much for me to get sidetracked.
Parker has an accountant. What he needed was a business plan. To help him get his business on track, he contacted Chris Lindgren, a University of Vermont Extension forest business educator.
John's smart. The fact that John knew he wasn't good at the paperwork, he had someone helping him do that part, made it easier to sort of assess the financial position that he was in. And that was a small part of the business planning process, actually. You know, the way I work with most folks is I've got a bunch of exercises that we go through, one-page plans, goal setting, write up a history of business, and through small chunks, we basically put a business plan together.
Chris kind of made it easy. He worked with me and gave me little projects to complete, which worked well for me. Just little tasks, not just dump the whole thing on me, and kind of worked at my pace.
Working together, Lindgren and Parker set some goals.
One of the first things that I try to do with folks is to do some goal setting. And his first three goals, one was to write a business plan to get financing for a piece of equipment. The other was to get licensed in chemical application for invasive species. Another was to work on marketing and build out a website.
Business plans are living documents, and like life, they can change. The equipment Parker had his eye on was a feller buncher, a combination chainsaw and excavator for pulling and hauling logs. But when Parker's license to remove invasive species came through, he had to make a business decision.
Forestry is always a moving target, and when we started, the buncher looked like the way to go, and this other avenue opened up, so the buncher is kind of still in the works, but it's not as much a priority as it was when Chris and I first started.
Is that okay?
I think it's okay. I mean, you've got to work in the woods. It's just like farming or you got to make hay when the sun shines, and this seems to be working out and paying well. Not sure, the buncher would work. It's just this seems to be a good avenue for the short term. I think to be a small operator and to move forward, you're going to have to be diverse and be able to be flexible. And this just kind of wasn't where I planned to be, but it seems to work out, and I think the buncher and that type operation is inevitably where I'm headed, but instead of being a a month or a year, it may be a couple of years to get this avenue taken care of before we put the buncher into the plan.
One of the reasons I like to work using one-page plans or using exercises is it allows it to change. It allows you to continuously work on your plan. Oftentimes people do just write a business plan to get financing, and then that's it, they shelve it. Much better to continue working with your plan, updating your plan, changing your plan. Facts on the ground change, and then you've got to change with them.
If it wasn't for Chris helping me out, I wouldn't do it. I would just keep muddling along like I had been and find money if I wanted something and jockey stuff around. And if it hadn't been for him helping me, no, I probably wouldn't even mess around with it.
There's a saying, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. It's advice Parker lives by.
There's a lot of easier ways to make a living.
I think I know where this is going. Why do I do this? I guess I love it. You have to love to be a logger. I like being outdoors. I like setting my own destiny. I complain about it all the time and swear I'm never going to do it again, and then I go right back to it. It's nice dealing with customers. It's rewarding to see at the end of the day a big pile of wood. It's physical, challenging, dangerous work, but it's after a day or two you'll get used to it.
A good logger knows when to cut and what to keep. A good businessman knows when to ask for help to achieve what he's got in mind. Thanks to UVM Extension's Forest Business Program, John Parker is both. In Springfield, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
UVM Extension's Forest Business Program offers skill development and one-on-one coaching. For more information, check the blog site that we've listed on your screen. You may also call the toll-free number 800-281-6977. That's our program for today. Once again, thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.